A background? Which background? Graduation final year. Okay, you? IPIN, integrated. Okay, all 5 years were done. 3 years, degree. Okay, so you have some idea about what is UPSC and all. So, what's your expectations now? In which areas do you feel you're lacking? Mentorship. Okay, you have no idea about it. Okay, so exam pattern and all is everything clear? Okay, so background ga ఏమైనా ప్రిపరేషన్ ఏమైనా స్టార్ట్ చేశారా? NCRTs and paper reading. You? Yeah, done with NCRTs. What about newspapers? Every day. Every day. Do you follow every day? Okay. You? Newspaper. So, do you think newspaper is important for exam? Obviously, yes. In my, if I have to tell someone with whatever experiences we have in this examination and all, the only one prerequisite that anyone has to do with respect to preparation is newspaper. The first major prerequisite for an aspirant should be the newspaper. You can ignore your static part. You can ignore whatever material, NCRT textbooks, anything can be ignored. You have to do without fail the newspaper on a regular basis. It has to become as your routine. You have to stick to it, because even if you follow this newspaper reading, whatever topics come up in news, like have you gone through yesterday's newspaper? Yesterday's? No. Recent happenings, international and national events. Any idea what is happening across the world and in India? Exams. So that is what my point is. Once you're done with your exams, even if you have 1 hour of your time in a day, whatever, for recreational purposes, we use at least 1 hour of your time. Try to give at least 1 hour of your time for newspaper without fail, irrespective of your situations. It has to become your daily routine. Why newspapers? How to read newspapers? Like I'm telling you that newspapers are the major important component for this preparation. Even if you ignore static books also, it is okay, but not at the cost of newspapers. How confidently I can say that? Because without knowing the static part, without knowing about what is the basic concepts, what are there in the reference books and NCRT textbooks, how do you understand newspapers? That might be your question, right? So if you look at the syllabus or previous year questions, whatever, the major component that you have to realize is that whatever questions were coming up in your prelims and whatever questions were coming up in your mains, all those questions will be in news for the last 1 year or 1.5 year. So whenever you are planning to get into this preparation, the first thing you need to do is, even if you know something or do not know something, if you go on reading newspapers, it will help you. It will be giving you some information at least. What are the advantages of reading newspapers? What are the advantages of reading newspapers? What do you get by reading newspaper? Keep in touch with subject. Okay. Apart from that? Apart from that? Newspapers. So you'll be having an analysis of whatever issues were happening in news. Clear perspective, a balanced approach. So it gives you immense knowledge, information. You can gather information. That's the first thing. Then on top of that, only information, collection of information is what you are getting out of reading newspapers. Authentic information. That is apart from info. What else do you get? On any topic, whatever is happening, you'll get an idea you can talk about that particular topic with anyone. You'll be a very well aware person. అంటే ఒక వెల్ రౌండెడ్ పర్సనాలిటీ డెవలప్ అవుతుంది, విచ్ ఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఫర్ ఎ సివిల్ సర్వెంట్. వెల్ రౌండెడ్ పర్సనాలిటీ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్, whenever you're taking any particular topic, you have to look into the components. What are the issues? Why is this coming in news? What is the background of this? What led to this issue now popping up in news? What are the causes of this? What are the consequences of it? And what are the statistics with respect to whatever is happening? What can be the way forward? How can you overcome this? All these components, the positive side, the negative side, and you have to arrive at some remedial measures, how to overcome that situation and how to address that particular situation. So a well-rounded, cleared and balanced, multi-dimensional, comprehensive perspective anedi only you'll be getting only by going through newspapers on any issue. Do newspapers confine itself to any particular subject? No, it confines, it never confines. You can get an article from international relations, you can get an article from economy, or you can get an issue from social issues as well. So all the topics which were mentioned in the UPSC syllabus were exclusively covered in newspapers. So before that, how do you pick which articles or which items you need to read from the newspaper? If you open the newspaper, it would be very exhaustive from first page to last page. Do you need to read all the content which was coming up in newspaper? Is everything required for your exam? Yes or no? No. How do you differentiate it? How do you know which is important and which is not important? As for the syllabus. So syllabus gives you a direction. Syllabus gives you a direction. Like after what to read and what not to read. So beforehand, before you start your preparation, the first thing that needs to be in your mind is the complete syllabus of UPSC. What is included in GS paper 1? Which subjects are there in GS paper 1? History, geography and your society. In history, you'll be having some 17 points or 19 points, including every subtopic and micro topic. You have to, like, by going through it frequently, you'll make it a habit of recalling and remembering the whole syllabus. That needs to be in your mind first before understanding or reading or retaining yourself in with some topic or concept. First thing is you have to completely, like, even if you by heart also, there is no wrong in it. You have to by heart the syllabus at the first place. Then only you will understand all the keywords which were mentioned with respect to all the subjects: history, polity, geography, economy, science and technology, environment and ecology, international relations, internal security issues, ethics, integrity, aptitude. All these components you will be knowing only if you go through the syllabus. Syllabus needs to be in your mind. All the keywords which were there in the syllabus, that has to be always in your mind, running in your mind. So whenever that keyword strikes something when you're going through the newspaper, if you are able to connect this syllabus with whatever article is coming up in the newspaper, then that is relevant for your exam. If you are not able to match something, some issue which is in newspaper to the syllabus, there is a mismatch between your topic and the syllabus, then outrightly you can ignore that. That is how you will be knowing which is relevant for your exam and which is not relevant for your exam. So before that, you need to have syllabus in your mind. So syllabus acts as a beacon of light. Beacon of light ante, it shows you the direction. When you are on a road where you don't know the direction at dark night, it acts like a light which guides you in a proper direction. So only if you go in that smart way of linking your topic with the syllabus, then that is a smart preparation or effective way of preparing anything which is in synchronous with your examination. If not, you'd be reading something which is of no use for your examination. That should not happen. If you go on doing that, that obviously kills your time. Killing your time, you waste one more year extra. You feel like, I'm not able to complete the syllabus. The syllabus is so huge, so I could not finish everything on time. There is a lot of pending work piling up, which I need to finish it off. All those complaints will come, or you will realize it only if you are not sure about what to read and what to ignore. So to overcome that, syllabus is the main parameter. After the syllabus, the next thing you need to consider is PYQs. PYQs means previous year questions. I'm talking about prelims perspective and mains perspective as well. You have to go through the previous year questions. These previous year questions acts like an anchor to your ship. Anchor to your ship ante? What is an anchor? Anchor to a ship. Anchor. ఒకటేసి షిప్ నాపాలి అంటే they'll to stop the ship there. They use an anchor. So, whenever you go through any particular topic, whatever is coming up in newspaper or whatever you're going through in your standard reference books or NCERT books, with respect to that particular topic, how the previous year questions are being asked. How the previous year questions are being asked. What kind of questions? How UPSC frames questions with respect to any particular topic. Topic wise segregate చేసి previous year questions ఉంటాయి. If not, last couple of years question papers తీసుకొని polity related questions. If there is a question related to President of India, whenever you are reading about President of India, how question can be framed in your prelims paper with respect to President? Which components are covering up when he is asking question? Because if you look at the prelims question paper, you will be having some percentage of questions which were directly asked. Directly asked in the sense ABCD kind of options. Whereas some questions you'll be having multiple statements. You have to know all the statements, then only you can arrive at the correct answer. Even if you don't know all the statements also, whatever pre-existing knowledge that you have, with that knowledge, if you could at least eliminate one statement, if I am giving you statement 1, 2, 3, in that you are sure that statement 3 is wrong. If you go through the options ABCD, they'll be giving you like 1, 2 and 3 correct, only 2 is correct, 1 and 3 are correct, none of the above is correct. So if you are sure that statement 3 is wrong, obviously at least you can eliminate 2 options. The answer is not going to be D and not going to be C. It can be either A or B. 50% there is surety that you arrive at a correct answer, even if you do not have complete knowledge about that topic or that particular question. That is how you arrive at smartly guessing. Smart guessing is required for your prelims. Even the top ranker who is securing ranks or who is getting into the service, they also shortly do not know more than 30 questions in your prelims question paper. 100% sure questions will not be more than 30 out of 100. Prelims paper consists of 100 questions, each carrying 2 marks. For 200 marks, you will be writing it. So anyone who is consistent, dedicated, sincerely preparing for this examination also, they cannot attempt more than 30-35 questions with 100% surety in your paper. So despite that, how are they able to clear the cutoff comfortably? Because after your short questions were done, those 30 questions were finished, you have to go by eliminating options. That is how you have to address the paper. It is not like if you do not know any particular statement, you should not answer that question. You have to go through the questions, read the statements, read them in between the lines and eliminate few options. Then you can arrive at another 60 questions. That is the way of easily clearing your prelims. That is how you have to go. So this previous year questions gives you a direction. Whenever you're going through any particular topic, on topics related to President of India, how questions are being asked in your prelims question paper. And in the same way, how questions are being asked with respect to your mains question paper. Polity, governance and international comes under your GS paper 2 in mains. GS paper 2 lo, how the questions are being asked with respect to President of India. Discuss about the discretionary powers of India. Are President's powers more compared to Governor's powers or not? Anything like that. If you go through the previous year questions, you will understand that. So in that direction only, I have to look at that particular concept. So it will give you a clear direction and it will give you a clear orientation on which areas to focus and which areas to avoid. That is how this syllabus and previous year questions helps you. Now again coming back to newspaper. Apart from providing information and knowledge to you, oka complete orientation, complete awareness of the topic to kakunda, what are the inherent advantages of reading newspaper regularly? On top of that, it provides information, it makes you a well-rounded personality by creating awareness of all the topics happening up in national level and international level. Apart from that, what else it provides? Inherent benefits of reading newspaper consistently. I mean regularly if you do that. What are the other various advantages? So your speaking skills increases, speaking skills, orator skills increases, your writing skills increases. Whenever a topic is chosen by an author, he will be articulating it in his own way. Whatever thoughts he is having in his mind, how how he is articulating his flow of thoughts, how well he is introducing the topic, how curiously he is making the reader to sit and read the whole article, how he is making his arguments, how he is making his counter arguments, how he is criticizing the government, critical analysis of government initiatives, how he is doing that, and obviously at the end, how he is able to give you a way forward to overcome that situation. The conclusion part, the grievance redressal part, what can be done to overcome it. All these aspects, how effectively he is doing it, you'll be knowing that. By knowing that, will that benefit you in any way with respect to this examination? By knowing that, how does it help? Mains answer writings. So answer writing is very much important for your mains. Prelims is completely objective in nature, which means you'll be having multiple choice questions and you'll be attempting it. So you need to just bubble your options. Whereas when it comes to mains, it all depends upon the answer writing. So as much answer writing that you practice, the more perfection that you attain and the more marks that you can secure with respect to mains, be it in your general studies or be it in your optional subjects as well. So answer writing has to be the key. The only way that you are communicating with the evaluator is by way of answer writing. Evaluator don't know any particular individual. He is not aware whether I am a fifth timer or a fresher who is writing for the first time the mains. He is not aware how many years of background work that you have done. All the things can be known and it will be visible only by going through your answer. So your answer has to speak. That is the level of perfection and skill that you need to acquire for writing your answers. Because all the GS papers, all your mains papers need to be addressed in that answer writing mode only. So the more practice that you do when you are in your preparation on a daily consistent basis, it obviously helps you enrich your scores in general studies, in your optional subjects. So you'll be scoring very much well or pretty much good score in your mains. That decides your fate in the UPSC exam. If you score very good marks in your mains, no one can beat you in interview, because mains weightage is 1750 marks. We have GS 4 papers, each paper carrying 250 marks. So 250 into 4 is 1000. On top of that, you have one essay paper, which is again for another 250 marks. What is the syllabus of the essay? What is the syllabus of the essay? Whatever you are reading for your general studies for all the 4 papers, that acts as a syllabus for your essay. He can ask you to write an essay on some geographical phenomenon. Let's say some floods are happening somewhere in India. In Assam recently, some floods are going on. So how do you, geographical aspects, how do you overcome floods? If floods has come up, how do you mitigate it? Then whenever some geographical catastrophe or disaster has happened, it always brings down to your disaster management, how your country is prepared to overcome such disastrous situations, unforeseen situations. So disaster management, you can bring in and integrate here. Your geography will be in paper 1 of general studies. Your disaster management will be in GS paper 3. So you are integrating all this and writing a comprehensive essay. Whatever question comes up. So whenever you are reading anything in newspaper, whatever knowledge that you are getting or whatever knowledge or opinion that someone is conveying to you in an article, with respect to various components of the various subjects and various syllabus components. That all you will be having in your mind. So whenever I ask you to write an essay on women, you can bring in all the dimensions. When you go through the newspaper consistently for 10 months, 1 year, before you attempt your serious examination day, whatever pre-existing knowledge that you have accumulated, even if you are not able to recall it also, but subconsciously that will be stored in your mind. So at least you'll be forming an opinion how to address this component. If I am asked to write an essay on women, so how women are politically represented in India, the representation of women in parliamentarians, lawmaking, how many percentage that needs to be there. What is the impact, societal impact of women not coming into the forehead, the impact of patriarchy, the colonial mindset, women are not treated on equal footing with men. Why this happened? Because we were nurtured in such way. But now, with the advent of technology and women coming into the forefront, many women leaders are leading top most corporations. They are in the top reputed positions. We are transforming. There is a paradigm shift happening. So there is a lot you can bring in historical perspectives. How women were treated in historical times, how they are treated, the prevalence of sati, the dowry prohibitions, to overcome all those and to uplift women to bring in women into the development. From women in development to women led development, there is a difference. Integrating women in development is one aspect, whereas women led development is women is leading you to the development. There is a trajectory where it has started and where it is taking you forward. Economic aspect, in economic perspectives, you can write many things. Women are not provided equal economic rights with respect to the male counterparts. Property sharing, inheritance rights, are they given to a male counterpart or woman? Majority of the cases it is going for the males. Why not women? That needs to be addressed. Culturally, how women were respected, how women were treated. You can bring in safety aspect of women also. Why sexual harassments of women were increasing, how to overcome that. Workplace, how do you respect her dignity, her equality, her liberty? All these dimensions you can bring in. This is how you need to address it. So whenever you go through newspaper, you will be provided various dimensions which you will be learning on a day-to-day basis. All those clubbed together, mixed together, you can put it in your essay paper. That is how you will be writing. And how effectively to present an essay, to structure your essay, and how effectively to score well in your essays. That is again another point. Multi-dimensional perspective and comprehensive analysis of any topic is prerequisite in your mains. That needs to be in your mind. Whenever you read any particular topic, don't confine yourself only to that components which the author has mentioned. It is only his point of view which was put forth in the newspaper. But on top of that, you have diverse perspectives which were not covered in that particular issue, which needs to be critically analyzed by yourself. You take his perspective, the effective way of his articulation, how he is presenting it, you can reproduce it in your essay paper. That is how you will be developing. There is no standard framework for essay writing. The way you present, the way you structure the content that you are reproducing in the paper, there is no standard way. Every one of us has got a different style of writing an answer, writing an essay, structuring an essay, or presenting. So everyone has different styles. How effectively you will develop that style? By exposing yourself to a lot of issues, articles, all these things. If you go on exposing yourself to a lot of issues and articles, different perspectives will be developed, and clubbing all those things, an effective way of presentation develops. For that, you need to regularly follow newspapers. So your speaking skills, writing skills, obviously if you do it on a regular basis, your reading skills also improves or enhances. All this leads to a well-rounded personality. If I am asking you to come and speak on a particular topic, if you have a thorough analysis in and out of any particular topic I am asking you to come and present, when you have different dimensions in your mind with respect to that topic, obviously you would be recognized as an intellectual being. Even if you go and talk with your friends also, the way you talk conveys your personality. The way you deliver, that resembles your character, your personality. He's like a very well matured personality. That is what this examination obviously makes you a well informed person, because whatever subjects that you are going through in this process of examination, you'll be knowing about the history, geography, polity, economy, security aspects, international relations. On top of that, even the ethics paper. What is ethics? What are moral values? What is empathy? What is sympathy? How your conduct has to be, how you have to behave with another person, what are the course of actions that you have. So all these things, even ethics also, you will be exposed to philosophical aspects as well. Philosophy also you'll be imbibing. So whenever you're going through all these topics, as a person, as an individual, you are very much transformed, very transformed human being. You will be evolved. That this process itself makes you like that. It will transform you. Whatever personality that you are having right now, that would be transformed into a well matured individual. That even helps you out. So again, coming back, like how newspaper, whenever anything comes up in newspaper, you have to link it with the syllabus. That's the first thing. And you have to go through the previous year questions, how questions are being asked, in which directions, what is the pattern of framing questions with respect to prelims and with respect to mains, how the pattern of framing questions are happening. That you need to know, so that whenever you're reading any topic, you will be focusing on the potential or possible questions that can be asked in your examination. That you will be knowing only by going through the syllabus and previous year questions. That needs to happen in the first place. Then, on top of that, whenever you're preparing, like even if you neglect static reference books also, you have to go through newspapers, is what I have said. Why? Because if there is an article with respect to falling value of rupee, falling value of rupee, if this is the issue which came up in newspaper, what do you need to understand here? Whenever that has come up in newspaper, you'll read that. Despite reading that, you come across various terms which the meaning of it, you might not be aware of it. The meaning, you do not know the meaning of it. In this, you will come across some terms like currency appreciation, currency depreciation, exports and imports has improved, trade deficit has increased, current account deficit has reduced, balance of payments, your forex reserves. All these technical terms you will come across. If you are not aware of those technical terms, read the newspaper whenever there is depreciation of rupee. Then Google search it. What is depreciation? What is the meaning of depreciation? Depreciation means fall in the value of rupee. When I say fall in the value of rupee, now how much is $1? What is value of $1? 80 rupees. Now it is 80 rupees with respect to Indian currency. Earlier it used to be some 65, 70, 75. Now $1 vis-a-vis Indian rupee has increased or not? Increased. Increased means the value of rupee has increased, whereas $1 is common. The rupee value has increased vis-a-vis $1. Means there is fall in the value of your domestic currency. There is fall in the value of your Indian rupee. When value is increasing, is there fall happening or it is accumulating value? When it is from 70 to 80, rupee has changed from 70 to 80 rupees. Can I say there is fall in the value of rupee or increase in the value of rupee? Increase. The reverse happens. When I say from 70 to 80 rupees, value of rupee has fallen. Then it is said to be as depreciation. The currency has depreciated. Why? From 70 to 80, actually the value 10 rupees has increased, but there is fall in value of rupee. Why I am saying that is because, let's say I am an importer. I am importing this marker. This marker is costing me 70 rupees. 70 rupees. So if I pay you $1, I'll be, in Indian currency, it is equal to $70. So if I give you $1, for 70 rupees I'm getting this. But now as the rupee value has increased from 70 to 80, to buy this marker, how much I need to pay now? How much I need to pay now? If this marker is, the price of this marker is $1. $1. So if I give you $1, I'll be getting this marker. So in India, if the value of this marker is 70 rupees, then if I give you $1, then I'll get this marker or not? Yes or no? I'll get it. If $1 equal to 70 rupees, I'll get this marker. Even if I give $1 or if I give 70 rupees, I'll get this marker. If the domestic currency, Indian currency from 70 to 80, it got increased. If it got increased, then what I'm telling, $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Now it is 80 rupees. Now this marker is costing me 80 rupees. So earlier I used to get this marker for 70 rupees. Now I am paying 80 rupees. So I am paying more or less? More. When I am paying more, do you say there is decrease in the value of your currency or increase in the value of your currency? Decrease in the value of currency. Decrease means rupee value తగ్గిపోయింది. Rupee value పడిపోయింది. Against dollar, rupee 70 rupees ఇచ్చి వచ్చేది ఇప్పుడు నేను 80 rupees ఇస్తున్నా. అంటే ఎక్కువ ఇచ్చి కొనుక్కోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. అంటే rupee value పడిపోయినట్టు. There is fall in the value of rupee. That is called as depreciation. Appreciation means the opposite. Like whenever you read any particular article, if you come across any particular terms, then Google it there and there itself. Then you will have a clear image, the real basic meaning of this. Then again continue your flow of reading the article. Then you will understand, you can relate it. Okay, this has fallen. So this has led to some balance of payments or your forex reserves has decreased. Why? Because imports from India has decreased. What is imports? What is exports? If there is any mismatch between your imports and exports, what does it lead to? What does it lead to? Deficit. Deficit ante if there is mismatch between your imports and exports. Your income is more compared to your expenditure. Then it leads to deficit. You're spending more and your income is less. Obviously it leads to deficit. So there what are different kinds of deficits. If it is happening with respect to trade, you call it a trade deficit. Trade means importing and exporting. Then there is some term called trade deficit. So what is the impact of trade deficit on forex reserves? If you are importing more, you have to pay more dollars. Whenever you are buying something, in terms of dollars, you have to pay for the other country from which you are importing. If you are importing, if you are exporting from India, then obviously dollars will come into India. When you are importing, you will pay in terms of dollars. But when you are exporting, people will pay dollars and buy our products. And if there is some mismatch between your imports and exports, obviously your forex reserves, whatever forex reserves means, foreign exchange reserves in terms of dollars, whatever we are getting, if there is a mismatch in it, obviously it leads to deficit. That deficit is known as trade. It is happening only in terms of trade or not. Importing and exporting, that's a trade. So that is known as trade deficit. That is how whenever you come across any terms, go through the meaning of it. By that way, you will be revising your static part as well. Whenever you come across the term trade deficit, open your NCERT or your reference economy textbook. What is trade deficit? Under which component it is coming? Just go through that. Then again come back to the newspaper. Whatever subject you are reading, keep your standard reference book or your class notes or whatever, which is covering all these topics. Refer that and again come back to the newspaper. Exclusively, isolatedly, you need not read your static part. If you go with the flow of newspapers, it will make you to open your economy book, your international relations notes, your polity notes, your geography notes, your security notes, your ethics notes. All you have to open and refer to it. If that is the process with which preparation needs to happen, you will realize that initially everyone who comes for coaching, who enrolls for coaching, they preferably sit for classes, take notes, revise those static part. That is also good. During the times of your coaching, the 10 months, once the syllabus is done, in that 10 months, focus on the concepts. Whatever subjects were taught for you in your class on that particular day, revise that. Revise the topic, again come up to the class. So in that 10 months, whole syllabus will be finished here, and the same syllabus you need to go through on a regular basis. You have to finish whatever is taught in the class. So that happens. Once that is done, when you get time to sit for yourself, no classes, whole syllabus is done. When you sit for yourself and dedicate time exclusively for preparation, for self preparation, then whatever process I'm letting you do is keep the newspaper, keep your standard books, go through different articles, issues, then revise your static part. Already you have gone through the static. Then connect whatever static were coming up in news, connect it with the static part and the contemporary issues. In that way, you can smartly go about the preparation. That is how you need to do. Clear? So basically what happens here is also like, first we'll be starting with your basics. Basics means your NCERT foundation course. All your basic conceptual clarity with respect to all the social sciences subjects you will be getting only by going through some NCERT textbooks. That is the first level of preparation which you will be going through. If you enroll for our classes also, that is the first thing which happens. On top of that, whatever syllabus is prescribed by the UPSC with respect to all the general studies subjects, history, geography, society, polity, governance, international relations, economy, science and technology, environment and ecology, internal security, disaster management, ethics, integrity, for all those, UPSC has given you some subtopics, what is included in governance. So all those topics will be dealt through in your regular general studies classes, and class notes will also be given for you, and a handout material will also be distributed. That will happen. So whatever classes were happening, every day on regular basis, you will be having a current affairs session on a daily basis. Every day 1 hour current affairs session will be there. You can attend that. And on the weekends, preferably you will have CSAT classes. CSAT means Civil Services Aptitude Test, which is a paper in your prelims apart from your GS. Now, CSAT has become very challenging examination because people who are able to score 120, 140 plus in general studies are not able to qualify even in CSAT paper. The CSAT paper is only qualifying in nature. Despite being qualifying in nature, the toughness of this paper has increased over the last couple of years. If someone, even if they are from the engineering background, who is very much habituated to mathematics, he is also not able to qualify CSAT paper because of his negligence. So you have to at least give some due respect to the CSAT paper and practice few previous year papers or few topics where there is chance of potential questions coming from that particular topics. Even the English comprehension aspect as well. That anyways, your narrative skills, comprehension skills, that gets developed if you go through the newspapers. Every day if you will be reading newspapers, very fastly you can understand the whole crux of the comprehension and you can arrive at some correct inference. That is how it happens. So CSAT classes will be in the weekends. On top of that, whatever classes that was scheduled for you in a particular week, let's say from Monday to Saturday, what is scheduled, which subject is devoted and which room it is going to happen, that will be provided to you priorly on every Sunday. The schedule for next 6 days. Every week schedule will be posted. Let's say in this week, from Monday to Saturday, you had a polity class. In polity, a topic on fundamental rights were discussed or covered. So once this week is done, after the end of this particular week, whatever discussions that you had in your class with respect to that micro topic on fundamental rights, you need to revise that topic, and on the weekends you just come and write a test on fundamental rights. Exclusive subtopic tests every weekend will be there. So that the whole syllabus, whatever is going through your classes for that particular week, you have to revise that and come and write a test with respect to prelims mode. Only on that fundamental rights, 50 MCQs will be given to you, including the previous year questions, how questions are being asked with respect to fundamental rights. And two to three mains questions will also be given to you. How fundamental rights questions were being asked in your mains paper as well. So you will be exposed to the pattern of asking questions with respect to your prelims and your mains. So in that direction, your preparation goes with respect to all the subjects, not only polity. Whatever classes were covered up in that particular week, let's say geography, climatology topic is done. You'll revise, come and write a test on climatology. If it is economy, national income accounting, GDP, GNP, NNP, all those. If that is done, revise that, come and test, write a test. So integrated preparation happens, your revision happens. Ultimately, every week you will be in consonance with the demand of the examination. Whatever is happening, you are revising it. The pattern of asking questions, you are exposed to solving a lot of MCQs. That helps you in scoring well in your prelims. You are exposed to writing mains answers on a regular basis. That helps you to score well in your answers. That is how this happens. And on top of that, you have some optional subjects also. How optionals can be selected? Do you have anything in your mind how to choose an optional? So what is your choice of interest for your optional? Public administration. Yours? Public administration. So why public administration? Syllabus. So whenever you choose any particular optional, few prerequisites needs to be kept in your mind. First thing, you need to have interest on that particular subject. First thing, in your interest, your curiosity, your enthusiasm for that particular subject needs to drive you. Only if you have that interest and enthusiasm, then only you can travel with that particular subject at least for 1 to 2 years. At least for 2 years, you have to travel with that particular subject. If you're not having interest in the first place itself, how can you do that? So you need to have an interest on any particular subject whenever you choose any optional. Second thing is, how do you know that you have interest in that particular subject or not? How do you come to know whether I have interest or not? How? Only by going through the syllabus. For every optional subject, UPSC has given you a detailed syllabus for public administration. What should be included in the syllabus? What is included in your paper 1 and what is included in your paper 2? That you need to be aware about. By going through every subtopic and micro topic which was mentioned for every chapter, by going through both the papers, you will come to know whether you are having interest in that particular subject or not. You can know your interest only by going through the topics and subtopics which were mentioned in the syllabus. After doing this, you have to look for the previous year questions. How previous year questions were being asked with respect to this particular optional subject. If you have gone through the syllabus, you will superficially understand what are the topics which were mentioned in paper 1 and paper 2. Then compare the syllabus with previous year questions. If I have finished the whole syllabus, including every subtopic and micro topic, am I able to answer this question or not? How questions are being asked in the last couple of years. So if I'm prepared with my own notes with respect to all the subtopics in the syllabus, am I able to interpret the question in a correct way, or am I able to address this question or not? And how questions are being asked in your previous years. You need to do a comparative analysis. That gives you or even boosts your confidence even more. That helps you. Then you have to look for general studies relevance. General studies has its exclusive syllabus. Each GS subject has got its own syllabus. Every subject has got its own syllabus. Same is the case with your optional subject. Optional subject also got its own syllabus. You have to compare the general studies syllabus with your optional syllabus. Is there any overlapping part which is common for your GS and your optional? If there is some common topics in your GS and your optional, to what extent are they common and in which subject are they being covered? If you look at it, if you take public administration, it can be used in your GS paper 1, some aspects of society, polity, governance, almost paper 2 is completely dependent upon your public administration syllabus. You can use that in your essay paper. In GS paper 3 also, you have something called as financial administration, which you will be learning about all the monetary policy, fiscal policy, government budgeting, all these things in your economy paper, which is in GS paper 3. On top of that, you have something called as ethics paper, in which you will be learning ethics in public administration, how civil servants should conduct, the code of conduct and code of ethics. All these things, the schedule of all these will be included in your GS paper 4 as well. The philosophies that you learn. So it has correlation with all the GS 4 papers. So almost if you compare, almost 40% of your syllabus in general studies is directly or indirectly overlapping with your syllabus of public administration. So if you are allotting your time for reading this public administration subject as an optional, whatever time that you are dedicating for your optional public administration, whatever knowledge that you are acquiring by reading public administration, you can use this knowledge in your general studies paper. And whatever general studies that you are reading with respect to contemporary issues or current updations which come up in newspaper with respect to all these topics, that you can also use it in your optional subject. You can update things with respect to policies, governance, budgeting, all things, whatever contemporary issues were happening, you can use it in your optional subject as well. So there is a win-win situation. There is a win-win situation. Your optional score increases, which has a propensity to enrich your score in general studies as well. Dual benefit, dual advantage because of this GS relevance. People who are opting for any social sciences subjects, they have to look for some relevance with general studies because there has to be some overlapping part so that it will be beneficial for your general studies and optional. But if someone is very strong, very confident in taking up some technical subject, then obviously this general studies relevance component is negligible. If someone is from engineering background and if he feels that he is very good at mathematics, or if he feels that he is very good at his mechanical engineering or civil engineering, he can opt that optional as well. But you have to, again, even if you choose technical subject also, apart from general studies relevance, all these aspects has to be considered. You have to do a comparative analysis. If that gives you a confidence, even if I'm exclusively reading a subject which is completely different from my general studies also, I will be scoring pretty much higher marks. If you are having confidence on that, you can go with your gut feeling. After this, you have to look for scoreability. Scoreability. How much is the weightage of optional subject? How many marks is the weightage for your optional? It is 500 marks. Out of 500 marks, how many marks are you able to get? How scoring is this particular subject? What is the maximum mark that a topper who got into the service has scored out of 500? And what is the minimum mark that you are able to getting? If there is some technical optional, something like botany, zoology, even if you give your 100%, even if you are expertise in that particular subject also, if they are not giving you enough dividend, if it is not paying you enough marks for your effort, whatever you have put, then you have to, if the scoreability of that particular subject is very low, you have to ignore that. Because in mains, every single mark matters. Whatever general studies papers we have, GS 1, 2, 3, 4, your essay paper, that paper is common for everyone. Every one of us will write the same question paper. Every one of us has the same knowledge. Whoever is writing or attempting mains, they'll be reading the same resources, the same content. Everyone would be in a almost same level of preparation. So the maximum variation of marks that you can witness in your general studies papers among the candidates who have prepared very sincerely, among those, the variation in general studies marks will not be more than 20 to 30 marks, which is very small number. But when you consider your optional subject, there is a chance of 100 plus marks variation. If someone is good at Telugu literature, Telugu సాహిత్యం మీద ఎక్కువ నాలెడ్జ్ ఉందనుకోండి, తెలుగులో బాగా రాసి ఒక 350 మార్క్స్ స్కోర్ చేయొచ్చు. మ్యాథ్స్లో మీకు బాగా నాలెడ్జ్ ఉందంటే 350 మార్క్స్ మీకు వస్తాయి. So someone who is preparing in a mediocre level, he might get some 250 marks. So there is variation of 100 plus marks because optional subject varies from person to person. Your knowledge base varies from person to person. Your subject expertise level varies from person to person. And your choice of optional also varies from person to person. So there is a tendency. So there is scope for 100 plus marks variation in your optional paper. So you should not neglect your optional paper. And finally, sixth point is you have to look for, with respect to that particular subject, who is the reputed faculty that he is taking up or dealing with that particular subject. the reputed faculty needs to be available who is taking up. Then the availability of material in consonance or in synchronous with the demand of the UPSC syllabus, that needs to be there. And then only by going through the classes or listening to the classes, if you have gone through your classes and your coaching is done, does that give you confidence to score more marks in your optional subject? Only listening to classes, is it enough? No. Obviously, there needs to be some proper test series conducted. A proper test series needs to be conducted in which you were asked to write a lot of tests with respect to all the chapters in your optional subject. After writing that, you need to have a proper mentor who is guiding you. Mentorship and guidance also needs to be provided with respect to that particular subject. Here, like after every chapter, you will be asked, you would be given a test. You would be asked to write a test. Once you write the test, how are you writing? What is your answer writing skill? How effectively you are presenting? What is the content that you are adding? How are you linking the topics? What is the presentation skill that you are having? And what is the structure of answer that you are building up? Your paper will be evaluated and proper feedback will be given to you. That acts like a value addition, which will help in further improvement. Then it increases your score in your optional. That is how you have to look for. Any optional that you choose, you have to go through all these 6 parameters. Whichever is pulling you with the maximum score, like whichever is satisfying all these 6 parameters, you have to pick it as an optional. That is how you score well. All right? Anything else? Anthropology. Have you gone through the syllabus? Same thing applies. You need to have interest on that particular subject. If you have gone through the syllabus of anthropology, how is it resembling? In the first place, if you go through the superficial, if you skim through the syllabus, it feels like it is more like a science biasness. You can witness the science biasness in your optional of anthropology. So, are you convenient with the technical terms, the evolution of mankind, all those technical jargons? If you are comfortable with it, if you have that inclination of basic science, scientific, remembering those scientific terms and all, then you have to go through the previous year questions, how it is asking or framing a question, how effectively you can answer that. GS, to some extent, some topics were relevant in your social issues, society, evolution and all. In that aspect, it is related. Obviously, in essay somewhere you can use it. In ethical perspective also you can use it. So you have to clearly make it in your mind. How can I use this? Whatever I am reading in my optional subject, in which paper and in which segment I can use this in my general studies paper. That also you need to constantly maneuver through so that it helps you score well in your mains. All right. Anything else?